Hey, what's up, everybody? I want to welcome you to another episode of the Dreamers Pro Daily Recap, where we give you a recap of all of the hot topics that we covered that day. You can catch them in their long format and also catch it fully streaming for free on Apple Podcasts. You know that Dreamers Pro, our channel, where we have a lot of LeBron fans that are not a fan of us, right? And one of the things that these guys have been saying over the last year and a half now is that, oh, Dreamers Pro, what are you going to do when LeBron James retires? Dreamers Pro is not going to be able to make any money. Oh, all of these content creators, what are they going to do? These LeBron haters, what are they going to do when LeBron is not here anymore and you guys don't have him to make any money? Dreamers Pro, LeBron James is carrying you guys. This is what they say, right? This is what they say. Meanwhile, last month we had one of the best months ever on our channel and had nothing much to do with LeBron James, right? But I digress. But anyway, this is what they say, right? And it makes them feel good. It makes them feel warm inside when they can say that to you. Oh, man, LeBron James is not going to, if it just makes them feel good, right? And apparently this sentiment extends all the way up to LeBron's agent, Rich Paul, right? So there was an absolutely hilarious post that one of our viewers sent to me of Rich Paul, right? Talking about what is going to happen when LeBron James retires. So I want to put up the post here, and it says, it's from Rated R Sports. It says, when LeBron steps away from the game, the NBA should prepare for a major dip in ratings. Rich Paul and LeBron James. Then it says, Rich Paul warns that when LeBron retires, the NBA could see a major drop in viewership. And I thought that this was absolutely hilarious. The reason it's hilarious is because we just received a report that the ratings are up. I'm going to quickly read you a quick headline from Front Office Sports. It says, NBA ratings up 30% through first month despite star injury woes. And I just said, this is fantastic. So the article then continues on. The NBA has delivered strong viewership numbers through the first month of the season under the new media deals. The first month of the NBA season has been marred by gambling scandals and a slew of star injuries, but that hasn't stopped fans from tuning in. National NBA games averaged 1.9 million viewers through the first month of the season on ESPN, NBC, Peacock, and Amazon Prime Video. The numbers are based on Nielsen's big data plus panel measurements, though Adobe Analytics is used to account for Peacock streaming figures. Overall, it's a 30% increase compared to last year and the highest since 2017. The league also drew 60 million viewers across its national games, the most total viewers for an opening month in 15 good years. Outside of the 2011-12 season, which started on Christmas Day due to a lockout, the viewership numbers aren't apples to apples due to the Nielsen's new big data plus panel measurements, which has caused viewership increase across most sports. NBC's Adobe Analytics measurement also differ from Nielsen's measurements, which are used by ESPN and TNT Sports, the NBA's previous partner. The 2025-26 season numbers, at least through the first month, are also compared against a low base given that the NBA ratings were seeing double-digit declines until Christmas. But even as the changes in measurement don't fully account for the NBA's viewership increase to start the year, the total viewership numbers is a result of the NBA's decision to bring in NBC and Amazon, one that has been highly criticized due to the broadcast fragmentation and the increased cost to watch all the games. But the move from 2 to 3 national sports partners, including the addition of 2 streaming platforms, resulted in 75 more national games for the 2026 season compared to last year. It says, here's the breakdown per broadcaster through the first month. NBC Peacock, 3.6 million through 6-game windows. ESPN, 1.62 million over 11 games, up 24% versus same period last year. Amazon Prime, 1.1 million viewers through 8 games. So the article then goes on to entail and give a few other details here. What are my thoughts about this? I think the miscalculation that LeBron fans are making is that just because they love and adore LeBron James, they feel like the rest of the world does as well. They fail to take into account that LeBron is extremely polarizing. right? He's extremely polarizing, number one. Number two, they're also discounting just how popular some other stars can be if, LeBron isn't there sucking all of the oxygen out of the room. The NBA has some young up-and-coming stars that are making a lot of noise. You have Kay Cunningham in the Detroit Pistons, in Detroit, who have won 11 games in a row. Of course, you have Victor Wembanyama, who I think is on the verge of becoming the face of the NBA. You have some other guys like SGA. Of course, you have the excitement out there in LA with Luka Doncic and the Lakers. You have Nikola Jokic, some of the more seasoned veterans. You have Giannis Antetokounmpo and the Bucks. So you have a lot of star guys, and you have a lot of young and up and coming guys that are coming into the league. And a lot of people are excited to watch these guys. As a matter of fact, I've seen as much excitement around Victor Wembanyama as I have about any player. Quite literally, as much as any player. Every time, Victor's playing and he's doing something, they're posting highlights about it and all those people are losing their minds, right? But they made a gross miscalculation. But they did the same thing last year in the playoffs. They thought that, once LeBron and these guys left, nobody's going to watch. People kept on watching. And this is what I told to Gil. I'm like, Gil, bro, somebody else knew will come. Somebody else knew was going to come. You think that the NBA is going to fall into the damn Pacific Ocean after LeBron retires? Like, get real. Get real. Of course somebody else is going to. Like, why would the NBA end now? Are you joking? So these guys, your LeBron fans like to just, they love this idea of, what are your channels going? LeBron is just so easy to talk about because of his antics, man. There's just so many things happen. It's like, how can you resist not talking about these things? They're absolutely hilarious. But to suggest that, all these channels, bro, knock it off, man. Like, knock it all the way off. Right? And obviously, you see it's not going to be the case. So yesterday was a big day because a lot of it, or most of it, had to do with Shedeur Sanders, right? He was making all kind of headlines after having his first start in the NFL for Cleveland Browns. Obviously, he made some history, becoming the first quarterback, I think, in 17 or 19 years, if I'm not mistaken, to first rookie quarterback, 17 years to lead his team to a victory. So he was making a lot of headlines because of that. Then later on in the day, we got an update that he was going to be the starter. I'm looking here at the Yahoo Sports post that says, breaking, the Browns are naming QB Shedeur Sanders as their starting quarterback this week against the 49ers. Kevin Stefanich has announced Dylan Gabriel cleared concussion protocol, but the Browns are opting to roll with Sanders for week 13, right? So we have that. But there was some more drama surrounding the conclusion of that game. So I came across an article here from Awful Announcing stating Shannon Sharp and Chad Johnson outraged that head coach Kevin Stefanich didn't give Shedeur Sanders game ball. And then it says they don't want him to succeed. You know that. So what we want to do is want to play the sound from what these guys had to say on Nightcap yesterday, because they were pretty fired up about it. And then we're going to come back and continue on the show. Take a listen to what these guys had to say yesterday.
How about Gage's big punt return on special teams? How about Corey? Every single time you're out there pinning those guys doing your job. Great call. How about that big play by Sam at the end? IB, huge play. Q, huge play. Harold making a big play. And then another rookie making his first start. Nice job, Shedeur. Well done. I got one ball in my hand. Okay, I got a guy. He's got to get a cold every week. Okay, he had a cold this week. Wasn't feeling himself. 3 sacks, which gives him 18 on the season through 11 games, which breaks his own Browns record. Myles Garrett. Come on, man.
So hold on. A guy making his first start. A guy that you didn't really want to start. A guy that you didn't even want in your organization.
Right.
And that's all he get. Great job.
Well,
he don't get no game ball?
Nah, he don't get no game ball, Unc. That wasn't his pick. That's not what they want. They don't want him to succeed. You know that. And no disrespect. The owner told you to himself. Even the head coach's guy is Dylan Gabriel. We all understand that. Listen, didn't Shedeur make history tonight?
Yes.
First Browns quarterback as a rookie to start and win after what? Since what?
17. I mean, you got to think about it, Ocho. They've had 42 starting quarterbacks since 1999.
Right.
No quarterback making his first start.
Yeah.
The last 17 have said we didn't get it. They didn't get it done.
Yeah. Listen. I mean,
That ain't worth the game ball, Ocho.
It's clear as day now. It's clear as day. Like, I mean, we've been going back and forth about this over and over, the nitpicking here and there, and people say, oh, they hate, they're not hating. Oh, Dylan Gabriel. Listen, all that, we know what the play is. The writing is on the wall. It's always been on the wall. When the owner came out and said what he said about this not being my pick, this is brother Drew Berry, right? Is that how you say his name?
Andrew Berry.
Andrew Berry, excuse me. Andrew Berry, it was his pick. It was his idea. I mean, we know what it is. You know, the odds are stacked against you. The odds are stacked against you. When the opportunity presents itself, he has to go out there and do what he did.
I don't get it. Ocho, sometimes you got to, like Coach used to tell him, sometimes I got to fool him. Sometimes you got to lie to your team.
Yeah.
Even if you don't like Shedeur, even if you want Dylan Gabriel, you won't commit. I get all that, and I get the semantics. I get the scheme of it, Ocho. Well,
Right.
I want them to prepare for both, knowing damn well Dylan Gabriel ain't gonna see that field anytime soon. I get all of that.
Right.
But this notion that this thing is even close, this notion that this was just a whole hum performance.
Right.
The guy got no snaps with the guys that he played with today until Wednesday of last week.
Yeah.
And he does that on the road in a hostile environment. And all you got for him is that.
Excellent. So you heard what they had to say here. So let me just continue on a little bit with this article. It says, ever since the Cleveland Browns selected Shedeur Sanders in the 5th round of the 2025 NFL Draft, there's been no shortage of attention placed on the relationship between head coach Kevin Stefanski, and the former Colorado star. But while all that seemed like an afterthought after Sanders helped lead the Browns to a 24-10 victory over the Las Vegas Raiders in the first start of his NFL career on Sunday, Stefanski's post-game speech has now reignited the conversation. As he does after every victory, the two-time NFL Coach of the Year singled out several key contributors in the Cleveland locker room. That included Myles Garrett, who he has presented with his lone, game ball after the superstar defensive end broke his own single-season franchise sack record, which now sits at 18. That's not to say that Stefanski completely ignored his rookie quarterback's contribution. He said, another rookie, his first start, nice job, Shedeur, well done, he said, pointing to the reigning Big 12 Offensive Player of the Year. And then the article goes on to say a few other things there. So what are my thoughts about this? Well, look. Shedeur, it really looks like he's picked up a lot of supporters along the way, given how things went with him during the NFL draft, right? When he was going into the draft, we thought that this guy was going to be selected quickly. That's what we thought. And then when he kept on, going unselected round after round after round, a lot of people started to raise the alarm bells or whatever it is, sound the alarms. And they felt like he was being targeted. That certainly became the prevailing sentiment out there, that they're targeting this guy. They're trying to punish him maybe for being too arrogant. There were various reports dropping of how he was behaving in some of these interviews. You had that out there. Some people were also speculating that maybe they were doing this to get back at his father. Maybe Deion Sanders, they felt like he's too arrogant, he's too braggadocious, he talks too much trash, whatever the case is, right? And in the midst of all of that, they felt like he was being treated unfairly. So he picked up a lot of support. And I think that people are now going to be scrutinizing every little thing that happens around him. So even at the end of the game, or the game ball, and you refuse to give the quarterback who made his first start, you refuse. Now, he should have probably given him the game ball there. Just given the fact that the guy just made history. It's his first start as a rookie. I mean, Myles Garrett is a great player. Chances are he's going to be doing spectacular things where he can get another game ball easily. But this is the first time this guy is having an NFL start. He played pretty well. He had a touchdown, I think, over 209 yards. So you would think that he would just be like, if not for anything, to at least build his confidence and encourage him to say, hey, look, the coaching staff, we have your back going forward. We're in your corner. We're here to support. You would think that at the very least he would do that because, again, this is his quarterback. And the quarterback obviously wants to feel like he has a lot of support from his head coach, right? So for him to not do that, it just ends up creating all of this talk and, all of this noise surrounding the team. But look, it's bringing a lot of attention to the organization. Shedeur Sanders is extremely popular, right? Very, very popular. He was a number one trending story, right? Yesterday, in news. In sports news, the number one. I don't know who was discussed more than he was yesterday. And this is from a rookie quarterback, right? So I guess we'll have to see. A lot of people feel like the coach just has it against him. He doesn't like him. I don't know the full backstory about it because I don't really follow the NFL, but it was a big enough story for me to just say, hey, let me talk about this and see what our audience has to say about it. So Stephen A. Smith is back at it again, right? And this time, apparently, he has Dave Portnoy on his case. Now, apparently, what had happened, as you guys know, as I said before, I don't follow the NFL, right? I don't follow what's going on over there. I don't really know much about it, but from time to time, I do kind of, dabble. So this morning I came across a topic here from Awful Announcing with the headline saying, Dave Portnoy accepts Stephen A. Smith's apology. He bent the knee, right? And I want to give you guys some quick backstory. It says Stephen A. Smith might not want to concede to anyone's demands, but he apologized to Drake May, and that's good enough for Dave Portnoy. Drake May said that he didn't know what show Cam Newton was on, and Stephen A. Smith didn't like that. Stephen A. Smith called Drake May a liar, and Dave Portnoy didn't like that. Dave Portnoy demanded an apology, and Stephen A. Smith didn't like that, but he did apologize, and after that, Portnoy is thankful. So what we want to do is play Stephen A. Smith, initial comment that got Dave Portnoy fired up. And I think we're going to also hear from him here. And then we're going to come back and continue on the show. Take a listen to the sound here.
He's also a liar. He's also a liar. First Take is the #1 morning show. 13 years and counting. Don't tell me you an athlete and you don't know that. Don't tell me you an athlete and you don't know that Cam Newton ain't on the show. You lying.
All right, busy day here, but real quick, got to defend the wall. Just came across my desk, Stephen A. Smith called Drake May a liar. A liar. He called him a liar. This all stems from Cam Newton, who he can have opinions. Cam Newton can say whatever he wants. He said the Pats are fool's gold because easy schedule. And they asked Drake May about that comment. He's like, I don't even honestly know what show Cam Newton is on. And then Stephen A. Smith on First Take calls Drake May a liar, challenges his manhood. You don't call a man a liar. He owes him an apology. And by the way, Stephen A., the rant, he's like, part of the interruption is the #1 show. Everybody knows it. Those have had the same two hosts forever. First Take, since Skip left, it's been a revolving door. People in, out. I, hand to God, had no idea Cam Newton was on that show. I didn't know the other guy, the Steelers guy, who I'm forgetting his name, who's always apologizing every 3 seconds. I didn't know he was on that show. I see Orlovsky on that show. I know Stephen A. does First Take. I got no clue who his partner is at this point. I had absolutely no idea Cam Newton was on it. I didn't even know Cam Newton worked for ESPN. I thought he did his own gig. So to call Drake May a man of honor, a man of integrity, to call him a liar, to say his family are liars. He's from a family of liars. To say Michael May is a liar. That's what he did. When you question a man's integrity and say he's a liar because he doesn't know Cam Newton is on First Take, I think if you polled 100% of sports fans, what does Cam Newton do in media? 60 to 70% are not going to know, and you call the MVP of the league a liar? Well, you owe us, me, Drake May, the Crafts, all Patriot fans an apology. Just because we're back, just because the Patriots are the toast of the town, here comes the naysayers. Well, not on my watch. They're back, I'm back, and you will not call Drake May, a man of honor, courage, religion, a liar on national TV. Cam Newton, really? Everybody knows Cam Newton's on that show? No chance. No owe us an apology.
Excellent. So you heard that there. Well, apparently Stephen A. Smith did issue a public apology, and then Dave Portnoy decided to react to it, and then he ended up using the word bend the knee, which just had me chuckling over here. Okay, so what I want to do is I want to play what Dave had to say here in response to Stephen A. Smith's apology, and I'm going to come back and continue on the show. Take a listen to this here.
Thanksgiving week, guys. It's here. Gratitude is in the air. I'm very thankful to be here at Barstool Sports. I'm very thankful for the opportunity to do this show. It's insane. Dave.
I mean, come on.
What?
Paul,
What? Was that too real?
I'm not trying to turn this
too
into
sincere?
a Disney after school show.
Stop
down.
I'm very thankful for being here. I'll do it. Listen, you want to get thankful? I'll give a real thanks, okay? I'll give a real thanks. I'm a giving thanks guy. When Drake May was called a liar by Stephen A. Smith because he said he didn't know Cam Newton was on that other network and on First Take, I demanded an apology from Stephen A. I said, you don't call my quarterback a liar. You don't do that. Stephen A. responded by saying, who was Dave Portnoy to demand an apology from me? I ain't getting an apology demand from me from nobody, especially Dave Portnoy. And then the next breath, what did he do? He apologized. So thank you, Stephen A., for apologizing. I don't care whether you say you didn't, I can't demand it. The main thing is you did it. The main thing is I said, hey, you are going to apologize for calling my quarterback a liar. And he said, no, he's not the man enough. By the way, I was just joking. I'm sorry to Drake May. So apology accepted. And I'm glad we could put this nastiness behind us. I respect Stephen A. And I'm glad he adhered and bent the knee and gave the apology. So I am thankful that war is over.
Excellent. So you heard his comments. What are my thoughts about this? I think it's hilarious. And the reason I think it's hilarious is because this is not the first time we've heard Stephen A. Smith apologize for things. I mean, for goodness sakes, he was going pretty hard at Jasmine Crockett for quite some time. And then some people started to get on his case, and then ultimately he had to issue an apology for that. He's apologized for other things as well, right? And now the running joke out there is that whenever Stephen A. Smith says something that may be controversial, people usually post in the comment section, just in Stephen A. Smith apology in 3, 2, 1, and then people start laughing and cackling in the comments because they expect this. Now, the bigger joke about all of this is this. There's some Stephen A. Smith supporters that felt like, oh man, Stephen A. Smith, yeah, man, he could potentially run for president. If Stephen A. Smith can't stand up to LeBron James, Dave Portnoy, and these guys, how the hell is he going to run for president and stand up to Putin and the rest of these world leaders? Like, what are we talking about here, right? What are we talking about? In terms of Dave Portnoy using the word bend the knee, I think he was basically trying to humiliate him. He knows what the hell he was saying when he said that. He knows what the hell he was saying. We couldn't show his face, but he knows what the hell he was saying. He was just basically saying, good job. You know what you were going to do. You know what you were going to do, right? And I don't understand. Stephen A. Smith got all his damn money. He's always apologizing. I don't understand it. I don't understand. You got tens and tens and tens and tens and tens and tens and tens of millions of dollars, and you out here apologizing up and down. Why? There are people that got $100 in their pocket and they ain't apologizing for nothing. All right? They ain't apologize. Now, in terms of him getting upset that apparently this young quarterback didn't know that ESPN first, bro. And why are you getting offended about that? And it's not everybody that watches ESPN First Take, man. It's not everybody. I watch ESPN First Take, the clips, right? The clips. I don't sit down and watch ESPN. Even when I was in the States early this year, in New York, I'm like, where am I finding the time to watch First Take? I got stuff to do, man. I got work to do. I'm not sitting here watching ESPN First Take. But I guess, Stephen A. Smith has a huge ego, so he feels like, everybody should know me, and I'm Stephen A. Smith. So what do you mean you don't know me? I have the number. Like, yo, bro, man, like, was it really that? Why are you getting no, man? Like, come on, dog. Like, was it really that serious, man? Like, they don't. So what? Who cares? You're making your money. Why do you care? Like, what you mean you don't know what? Like, come on, bro. Like, come on, man. This was an interesting topic that came across my timeline. I was actually working on some other content, and then this video popped up on my timeline today, and it's from a channel called Black top buckets. And it had the following headline saying, "It's obvious Kenyon Martin exposes ESPN's hatred for Nikola Jokic." Now, as you guys know, Nikola Jokic is a multiple-time MVP. But during his MVP runs, when he was collecting these trophies, things got a bit contentious on ESPN a few years ago. And one of the biggest exchanges, most explosive exchanges that took place on the network was between Kenyon Martin and JJ Redick, funny enough, right? Where Kenyon Martin was essentially saying that Nikola Jokic was stat padding his way to get numbers, and it became a big thing. Right, and he was also saying that voters are only voting for Nikola Jokic because he's white, and they want to see people from their own community do well. And it became this very big thing, this very, very big thing on ESPN, right? But ultimately, Joel Embiid ended up winning an MVP because they thought like he was going to win 5 in a row. I'm talking about Jokic. SGA won an MVP, and it seems like some people went out of their way to ensure that SGA would win win his first MVP. So I was just going through this video and I saw it, and essentially what this creator is essentially saying is that they have already kind of concluded that Nikola Jokic is going to win it because of how they felt like they took it away from him last year. So what we want to do is want to play Kenyon Martin, what he had to say here, and I'm going to come back and react to his comments. So take a listen to Kenyon Martin here.
Will SGA be the first back-to-back MVP since Joker?
Nope.
Can you say no?
Because they're going to get him man his trophy back, goddamn.
It can't be like both of them?
No, he's going to get his man his goddamn trophy back. He should have got it last year. They're going to give it back to him. Like they did when they did with Joel. His numbers are better than they were last year. So
SGA got to come up off of it?
It was never his to begin with.
He won it last season?
It was never his, man.
It was a forced popularity.
Yeah, that's...
Everybody had predetermined who they wanted to be.
That's all that was.
Beforehand, and
that
disappointed people.
On our very couch, still games to play, that has an MVP vote.
Yes.
Yep.
And knew who he was voting for already.
Regardless.
Great. So you heard what Kenyon Martin had to say. Now, this creator, what is it called? What is he called? I think Blacktop. No, let me just pull up the name of his channel again. I just closed the page. His channel is called Black Top Buckets, yes. He also started to play a bunch of different clips from Stephen A. Smith predominantly, but also from Shaq, but also from Kenyon Martin, where it was making it seem like as if they were reluctant to give Nikola Jokic MVP votes for whatever reason. And I'm like, this is interesting. So I want you guys to sit back, listen to some of this sound from Stephen A. Smith over the years and what he had to say about the MVP voting as it pertains to Nikola Jokic. And then we're going to come back and continue on. Take a listen to some of this sound here.
Joel Embiid is my front runner.
I mean, it's over for me. It's no way. I'm just not going to let people do that to SGA this year, okay? I don't give a damn. SGA was my MVP last year. He would be my MVP this year.
Should Jokic have won his 3rd most valuable player award?
No. You're not appreciating the greatness of Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, or Shea Butter, as Malika Andrews would say.
S.A., what do you think? Should Jokic have won his 3rd most valuable player award?
No, I don't feel that way. I have a vote. He did not get my vote. My vote went to Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, who I think should have been the worthy recipient of this award. I want to say this about Nikola Jokic because I don't want people to misunderstand. He is great. He's phenomenal. He's a champion. I think he's got the best commercial out there with the Despicable Me characters and the therapist. I think it's absolutely hilarious. Great personality, great ambassador, global ambassador for the game of basketball. And I'm happy for him because I'm not trying to imply that he doesn't deserve it, that he's not worthy of such acclaim and such honor. What I'm saying is there's a brother this year that I think has been vastly ignored. I know he finished number 2 in the voting, but I still feel that he hasn't been appreciated enough. Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, I think he's like 25 years of age, 24, 25 years of age. He was the 3rd leading scorer in the league this year, averaging 30. He scored over 30
more than 50 games this year. He was the third leading scorer in the league. He's one of the top leaders in the league in steals, field goal percentage shooting, etc. The Oklahoma City Thunder are one of the top 2 youngest teams in the entire NBA. And they were the number 1 seed in the West. Number 1. They got the number 1 seed. Shai Gilgeous-Alexander has everything to do with that. And when you consider his youth, when you consider what the fake accounts reminded us of the other day when Danilo Gallinari and Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, along with 6 first-round picks, were traded in order for them, the Clippers, to acquire Paul George. And you see what this brother is doing on the basketball court. We know about the greatness of Jokic. We know that when you're the champion, everybody's giving you their A game. We get all of that. We understand it. We know Jeff Green and Bruce Brown have gone and it's compromised their bench, which put more of an onus on the starters. We get all of that too. But this is a regular season award. And when you consider what Shai Gilgeous-Alexander meant to the Oklahoma City Thunder, how young they are in the process, how he's galvanized those boys, he's played a role in galvanizing those boys. He is their clear, unapologetic leader. And you see what he has done.
Great. So you heard that. Now, just as a quick thought experiment, I actually decided to put up a poll on our channel before doing this show. About 30 minutes ago, by the time this show comes out, it's going to be out. The poll would have been up for a few hours. So make sure you guys go vote on it as well. So I asked the audience this. I said, who do you have leading the MVP race so far? And out of the 500 voters that have voted so far, I gave 4 options: Nikola Jokic, SGA, Cade Cunningham, and Luka Doncic. So out of the 535 voters, right? Well, now 41 because I just refreshed. 52% said Joker. 26% said SGA. Cade Cunningham has 8%. And Luka Doncic has 4%. Now, here's what's interesting. If you look at the NBA standings, let's start out in the Eastern Conference. The Detroit Pistons are the number 1 team in the Eastern Conference. And they've won 13 games in a row, with the second best record in basketball of 15-2. Hence the reason I put Cade Cunningham up there. The Nuggets have the second best record in the West with a 13-4 record, 8-2 out of their last 10. And if I look up Nikola Jokic's stats, I'm sure he's putting up some gaudy numbers. I haven't looked at his numbers this season, but I'm gonna look at them now. So Nikola Jokic is averaging 30 points a game on 62.6%. Oh my God, on 62.6% shooting from the field. For my Lord, bro. 43.4% from the 3. Shooting 85% from the free throw line. Getting 12.8 rebounds, 11.1 assists, 3.5 turnovers, 1.6 steals per game. Let me just pull up SGA's number. These are ridiculous numbers, bro. What are we even talking about right now? Let me just look up SGA's numbers. I haven't looked at his numbers this year. So SGA is averaging 32 points per game on 54% shooting from the field, 41% shooting from the 3, 89% shooting, 90% from the free throw line. So he's having a 50-40-90 season over there, damn near 89.8%, while getting you 5 rebounds, 6.6 assists, only 1.8 turnovers, and 1.5 steals per game. Right? So our voters here at Dreamers Pro are selecting SGA. What are my thoughts about this? Do I think that people at ESPN have something against Nikola Jokic? Do I think Stephen A. Smith has something? Obviously, this is racial, right? This is where we're going with all of this. Is there a racial component to them not voting for or being reluctant to see Nikola Jokic win all of these MVPs? Well, I don't know. One of the things I will say, though, is that the criteria to win MVP has become so confusing. Historically, I thought winning the MVP meant the best player on the best team. And if we go from those historical standards, then SGA should be leading the MVP race, right? But given the fact that some players have great players on their teams, but SGA has also not been playing with his second best player this year. And the Oklahoma City Thunder only have one loss, right? So if you had to ask me to kind of think who I think is leading the MVP race, I think is SGA. I think SGA should be leading the way. And I think you have a strong case for Cade Cunningham. Obviously, he's not a name as sexy as SGA and the Joker, but I think the top three guys should be SGA, Cade Cunningham, and Nikola Jokic. Now, what particular order? I think it should be SGA, and then it's a toss-up between Nikola Jokic and Cade Cunningham. In terms of race, man, look, race is always going to be a factor, man. People want to see. I mean, it's a fact. Like white people want to see a white player do well. Skip Bayless has admitted this much. If you say otherwise, you're a damn liar, right? It's just a fact, right? Black people are going to want a black player to do well. I mean, it is what it is. But I think it's also important to say that, Nikola Jokic has won some MVPs now. He's won 3, right? I think Nikola Jokic has won 3. Let me see. I think last time I checked, I think he won 3, if I'm not mistaken. So it's not like as if the guy hasn't won MVPs. He's won multiple MVPs, right? Now, some people feel like he should have more. No, let me see. Yeah, he has 3 MVPs, exactly. Some people feel like he should probably have 4. I guess we'll see. But it was an interesting thought experiment. I hadn't thought about that in terms of that angle. I hadn't thought about it.